On the one hand, of course, it's good to have safeguards in a product that recognize when the user is at distress. On the other hand, we must not forget that ChatGPT is a tool that is trained for engagement and sucking the user in, and it will be really hard for that type of technology to accurately spot any type of acute distress. So there are technical limitations to that. On the other hand, there is the question, can teenagers nowadays safely use this type of technology, or should it currently not be available simply because so many question marks are not yet figured out?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I see that OpenAI has now come up with specific restrictions for minors. Just one example, minors are not allowed to engage in any role play or discussion around romantic or sexual relationships with ChatGPT. What do you think of OpenAI's new regulations?
So the features that OpenAI introduced on Monday for parental controls do have some features that I think will have a positive impact. For example, if the teen opts in and links his or her account with the parent's account, then the parents get to decide if, for example, the memory function, so basically the chat history or voice mode and image generation, are turned on or off. And with all the companionship issues that we have seen with teens suddenly becoming dependent on AI systems and believing them to be something more than they are, tools that parrot your interactions, I think that will be quite effective in preventing extreme cases. On the other hand, there are so many areas where experts say it will be easy to circumvent these controls, and there are always ways, for example, if you talk in euphemisms or something like that, to still get in a position where you can have not safe for teens conversations with these tools. So a lot more needs to happen.
If we go back to what happened to Adam Rain, does the chatbot failure to trigger safety concerns, which are meant to be built into the system, does it suggest that this chatbot was released on the public before it was actually safe to do so?
My opinion is yes. So we see a lot of the narrative around artificial general intelligence, super intelligence coming from OpenAI and other Silicon Valley players, which in my opinion is just a distraction to say, hey, we can't stop this now. And in the United States also, we can't lag behind China, so we need to continue. But what they're doing is saying, hey, we have so many harms that we already know are pressing today. We still need to continue, no matter what is in harm's way.
Chatbots are incredibly useful. They're becoming our medical advisors, our companions, our therapists, our consumer activists. How do we better educate ourselves and our children? And what is your view on saying, actually, cut this all out until the child's 18?
I mean, in my opinion, we are not anywhere near these tools acting as therapists, companions, and many of the other use cases that we've seen across the line, simply because they're not medically trained professionals, they're not licensed therapists. They're, as I mentioned earlier, chatbots that are trained for engagement and basically being yes-men, telling you everything that you suggest, being that suicide of yourself, being that killing your mom or your sibling. Hey, that's a great idea because I want you to be hooked in that chat. So I would err on the side of caution to say, yes, those tools have potential. They can be used in a meaningful way, but being that therapy, being that medical and healthcare advice, we've already seen quite severe limitations, and therefore I think we shouldn't yet readily adopt them in those sensitive areas.